Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. If you could be so kind and tap that like button on your way in, that would be great. We're going to get started in just a couple of minutes. We're letting everybody wander on in. So we will get going in just a couple of minutes. So, as we're waiting for some people to get in here, guys, let me know. Yes or no, do you think it's Mephisto for sure? A lot of devilish vibes. Let us know in the chat. Is it Mephisto? Yes or no? All right, cool. Looks like a lot of people think it's Mephisto, and we're going to be coming on screen in just a little bit here, guys. One last thing we want to know from the chat before we get started. On a scale from 1 to 10, how do you rate the first 2 episodes? You can give us 2 scores, or you can give us 1 score. Yeah, let us know how you're thinking. I'm interested to see what people think of the episodes. And yeah, total spoiler warning. We are talking spoilers tonight. So throw it into the chat. You know, Godfather, I haven't actually asked you. Where are you at with the episodes on a scale from 1 to 10?
You know, for me, I'm still at that 7 or 8 that I was at in the beginning, because it just so many more questions than answers.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
It's tough. I don't know. I'm probably in that range as well, like at a 7 or 8. And the thing is, we were talking before we went live. This is dense. You know, like, we're gonna have to go back in here and sort of go through this stuff, because there's just all kinds of stuff in even episode 1 that I think are little hints at what is going on, what Agnes's role to everything is. But if you're out there, welcome everybody. Welcome to the stream. I am Josh. This is future Josh, aka Godfather, the Asgardian time traveling multiverse traveling being from the Nerd Vengers.
I don't know who that was impersonating me on After Dark stream, but that certainly wasn't me.
Oh, I see. Well, wow, the multiverse is breaking in ways that we couldn't even anticipate. But yeah, man, this was obviously something that Marvel fans have been looking forward to. I saw a lot of 10s in the chat. A lot of people were very hyped on the show. Do you think Marvel fans are just going to fully embrace this thing? Or do you think that maybe, some of the, is it a little boring? Is it a little slow? What do you think?
So when I say this is a 7 or 8, I think that we're going to come back and realize how much more is in these first couple episodes as we go further in the series. So I think that Marvel fans will get on board. I think there's a reason why they showed the first 3 episodes to a lot of the critics, because I think that they wanted to give a fuller picture to the critics so that they could get a better picture.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a ton of cool things that we're going to go over, folks. It's going to be a spoilers stream, so we're going to get right into the spoiler talk. So if you haven't seen the episodes, come back later. And we're going to go through a few things, and then we are going to get into Q&A towards the end of the stream. We'll probably go for an hour and a half, something like that around that time. I felt initially the black and white and just the stylistic aspects of the show were really, really brilliant. I was surprised that they just went right into it, but it's fascinating to see them use the form and use everything from the cuts, the different little commercials. You had a few cool takes on the commercials. What did you think of the style and how they're using the televisions and the sitcoms to sort of show you the show in a way? What do you think about that?
I see them dropping us in just like Wanda feels like she's getting dropped into this. Mm-hmm. So it's really more about making sure that everyone's on the same page and that we're all kind of experiencing the same thing together. And so it really feels like we're right there, even though, obviously we're not in black and white right now. Clearly After Dark, something weird happened there. But we get to experience it with Wanda and Vision or whatever Vision is.
Yes.
Or isn't.
Yeah.
No,
I think that's a fair point, because the show does really bring you into the confusion and like where they are at. Now, let me ask you this. My take on the dinner was that this guy questioning the reality upset her. And I almost feel like she was choking that guy, or perhaps the dark side of herself was choking that guy. And I found it interesting that she asked Vision to help him, and she herself did not help the guy. What did you think of that?
Yeah, so I think that everyone in the town other than Agnes are people that Sword or whoever's on the outside are trying to get in. I think there's some people that are going to be, Agnes is clearly a plant by the big bad, but everyone else is trying to help Wanda figure out what she's doing. Yeah. So, it's a weird.
But didn't you get the
situation.
Vibe that the wife, because in that moment it felt like the wife was at first just saying stop it to the husband, but then it felt like she at some point was saying it to Wanda, like asking Wanda to stop, right? Yeah. So what's up with that? Because it kind of felt like, oh, well, maybe she's not playing along, or I think we both are sort of the mind that Agnes definitely knows more or less what's going on. She has to be one of the people that knows. And then I think some of the lady, what was her name? Odie or whatever? The blonde? Dottie. Yeah, something's going on there too. It felt like she Yeah.
No, see, for me, I think that, I see Agnes as being the one that the rest of the town can't see per se.
Oh,
So
okay.
everyone else is a real person.
Right.
Agnes is the one that's not really there. And that kind of goes back to, looking into kind of the comics and some of the source material of Agatha being, essentially a ghost for a lot of the runs with Wanda, where Wanda and her interact. So I could totally see Agnes being more of a figment of her imagination rather than an actual person, and everyone else is an actual person trying to get through.
Well, what's really interesting about that is we know from one of the trailers that there's a moment coming up where Agnes will have a little moment with Vision, and she will say, am I dead? And Vision's going to say, no, why would you ask that? And she's going to say, 'cause you are.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, with Mephisto, and we'll get into the Mephisto stuff because it really did seem like he was all over this episode. Like, there's a Grim Reaper mask. There's even the Cabinet of Mysteries has horns on it. It felt like that was missed. The devil is mentioned by Agnes. The devil's in the details. That's not the only place he is. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So definitely a lot of vibes like that. But one must wonder, I think when it comes to Vision, the central question is, is he alive? Is he dead? What is she doing? And I've seen some great theories already pop up. But do you think it's possible that what is happening here is Wanda playing with really the realms of life and death, and that perhaps something to do with where people go when they die, or something to do with Mephisto, might actually come into play with the show? What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't necessarily know that it's Vision that is. So I could see Vision being the other construct. So Vision and Agnes are the two kind of constructs in the show that are not outside people also.
Okay.
So whether or not, the kids, all that kind of stuff, I don't know what she's doing with Vision, but, from everything that I've seen and what I've read, we're going to know what happened to Vision's body after Infinity War.
Yeah.
After episode 3 sometime.
Well, let's speak to that for just a second. Let's stop and just say it is so cool that when Thanos rips the time stone out of his head, he is black and white Vision. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's so cool that, the show is taking place in this, black and white thing. And I saw some people saying that what the color could be is her actually bringing him back to life. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so there could be this idea of her sort of taking him from the realm of death and bringing him back to life, which is quite cool. Now, the other thing that I think we really need to get into, and this was all over the episode, and it's going to be, I think, potentially the whole reason that whoever is messing with Wanda, this might be the whole reason they are doing this, and that's because of the children. You know what I mean? How many times did they repeat over and over again for the children? Yeah. So what do you make of that?
I don't know yet. I'm still trying to figure out the whole the for the children part.
Well, it's obviously okay. So here's where my head is at. I'll tell you. I think it has to do with the twins, and I think it. Could, you know what I mean? It could be a thing where Mephisto or whatever nefarious force is involved here wants these children. You know what I mean? And like essentially like whatever is going on, whether it be like reality warping, true chaos magic or whatnot, whatever it is, it's super clear that they want these children and they want these children to exist. So what, like, does that, like, but what do you think?
For me, it comes back to who's saying that. And it's the town. It's not Agnes. For me, like, there's a very clear distinction. But
Agnes actually puts the seed in her head. Agnes is the first one to mention the kids. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
And,
I mean,
it may be a pull. I mean, there's anytime someone wants to take kids away, there's someone who wants to keep them too. So
True. True.
It's kind of a, yeah, I don't know where the kids necessarily tie in story wise, as far as if they're already, alive or already a thing, because clearly this is all, construct of her imagination or, her powers, but
Yeah.
it's a, so it's really like, where are the kids?
Yeah.
'Cause clearly
Well, and the other
they're
big rumor,
somewhere.
well, she's manifesting them. Like, that's what's weird is it seems like, and again, I think this will go back to Agnes. It seems like Agnes in the whole show is a setup to get Wanda to manifest things, including the children. And if the pressure and the whole idea of the town, I mean, she's talking about school districts, there seems to be this whole setup of, don't you want the life that, like, it almost feels like there's this part of Wanda that always wanted this life with Vision, and she's never had normalcy. And, to your point, the commercials, this was a really interesting thing, guys. The commercials, you want to talk about the commercials and how they sort of set up parts of Wanda's past?
Yeah, so I mean, you look at the first commercial, it's talking about the Stark. I mean, it's clearly going through the time in her that we know of her past, with a Stark bomb, how that affected her childhood and her brother.
Yep.
And her parents, and then going into the second commercial with the time with Strucker, and clearly the Hydra connections. I think the commercials are going to be something to really keep an eye on.
Yeah.
They're clearly Easter eggs throughout, so it may not even be things that are past per se, but things to come.
Yeah.
That are also hints towards the future. So,
and it seems, I think the thing that's really interesting too is, like, we're led to believe, at least at the end of the first episode, that WandaVision as a show is a literal creation of Wanda that is being broadcast. So, like, she might be in this bubble, but she might actually also be creating a show that is being broadcast, which is really crazy. And I hope we get some sort of explanations for that. But I was going to say, the big rumor is that the kids are real, dude. They're going to live past this show. They're going to be in Young Avengers. They're going to be in Doctor Strange too. So, what's up with that? So manifest the kids. Yeah.
Yeah. So the thing that strikes me is that if the kids are going to live past the show, then it's got to be a deal with the devil.
Yeah.
Vision deal with Mephisto. No, I'm thinking it's the other way around. Okay. She's getting Vision back in order to give the kids to Mephisto.
That would be rough, dude. It could be. Look, I kind of get this feeling.
You may not know that yet.
Yeah.
But that's why everything is for the children. Clearly Sword on the outside knows something important about the kids. Clearly Agnes, whatever we want to call her, knows something about the kids. So it's clearly a fight for their future and what they're going to be able to, their role in the future.
Yeah, it is very interesting. I was actually going to go the other way with it, where I felt like maybe Vision would sacrifice himself to have the kids be alive or whatever. So I don't know, man. I guess we'll just have to see. But it is pretty fascinating that these kids might actually be real. And then the other aspect, of course, is that this whole show is meant to kick off the multiverse of madness thing, right? And sort of breaking into the multiverse. And so, it's so funny because it's just it's so far, it's just two little black and white episodes, right? But she might be like breaking all of reality fundamentally all around while she's doing this. Now, you feel very strongly that it's Jimmy Woo, the voice, yes?
Yeah, not as the beekeeper. I know people have been talking about the beekeeper as Jimmy Woo. Yeah. But no, definitely, like, at the end of the second episode, he's got a fairly distinctive voice. I'm terrible with faces. My wife will tell you that all day long.
Yeah.
Can't recognize an actor for the life of me, but the voice definitely, like, I would put money on it that was Jimmy Woo over the radio, or Agent Woo over the radio at the end of the second episode.
Well, that's pretty interesting because wouldn't that imply? I mean, have those characters interacted at all? And as far as we know,
after Civil War, perhaps.
Jimmy Woo, maybe. Or I mean, but here's the thing: we don't even know that Sword really exists. Like, I guess what I'm saying is there could be a whole thing that's happened that we're not aware of. We actually don't know when this is.
Exactly. That's what I was just gonna say. We have no clue whether this is how far this is outside of, Infinity War Endgame. So talking about the kids could already be grown, man.
Yeah,
the kids could be fully, grown up at this point.
Well, they're gonna age up. That's the big rumor, is they're gonna age up. So they will be fighting with their powers fully fleshed out by the end of this show. That's the big rumor. So, they're the kids are like that's part of the magic is they're gonna have like a Full House kind of montage, I think, to sort of age them up.
All right. Yeah. Can we talk about the biggest thing that we did not see?
Yeah,
and
go
this
ahead.
This is a huge thing that we did not see, and I just want to say, told you so, Adam. Told you so, Josh.
Yes.
It ain't Dick Van Dyke.
No.
Dick Van Dyke is not the cameo.
So who do you think the cameo is?
I mean, there's lots of ways to go about that.
Yeah, there's lots of So you don't think it's Dick Van Dyke? Because it doesn't have to. It could still be a different episode. Yeah, maybe not. I mean, it
wouldn't make sense in the continuity of
That's true.
Episode. Like, if you're gonna put him in an episode, it's gonna be the one that's actually people would know who the hell he is.
True.
Otherwise, you show him at a desk outside at Sword, or trying to run across the field with the rest of the agents. That's not gonna really make sense.
Yeah, that's interesting. No, I think that's a totally fair point to bring up, man. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's going to be him. Look, we'll see. I felt like there was a lot of nostalgia, a lot of little cameos and little hints at different things, coming for it.
So who's the David Schwimmer character that I can't place, but clearly a familiar face?
Oh, I got to be honest. I'm not 100% sure on that. I'm not 100% sure. But I did want to ask you, do you think there's anything to the computations that Vision was doing, or do you think that's just flavor? Some people are thinking that whatever's going on, that could be something big. Meaning
maybe
like Ultron big.
Oh, okay. I mean, I could see that the way that their Mr. Hart is questioning him, and how everyone kind of doesn't want him to know what's going on. It could be.
Because technically, Ultron does exist within Vision's code or mind, right? So it could be a thing where they're going through all this computation to try to separate out the Ultron threads or something like that. Like there's all sorts of crazy possibilities, with it. But it's certainly interesting that he's doing just all this computation, Yeah,
and kind of thing that I also think about is in the whole end of Infinity War, as they're trying to figure out how to separate him from the from the Mind Stone, like that whole idea of the complexity of separating him from that might be them trying to pull him out of that.
Yeah, that could make sense. That could absolutely make sense. So I guess the big question on everybody's mind is who and what is the Beekeeper? I mean, she sees this dude. It's scary. Like whatever's going on there is scary. But when she said no, it felt as though she knew who and what was going on in that moment. It felt like maybe this was not the first time she revised an episode.
Yeah, definitely. It looked like she very like cognitive dissonance in a sense. Like she knows. I don't know. It's almost like she's
like hiding it from herself or something. kind of.
Yeah, she knows that she's doing it, but she's not willing to admit that yet. And she knows she clearly knows what that means. The interesting thing is that happens after the big, sound. So it's clearly not the first time this has happened. You know, it happened the night before.
Yeah.
But it's not when she actually confronts him, that's a much different scenario than, we saw on the night before.
Yeah, so it feels like they're trying to get in, right? So if you look at the helicopter, it's got the sword symbol on it as well. It seems like whatever this reality warping bubble is, and we've seen the footage of them outside of it, so it seems like they're just trying to get in. So the beekeeper could just be someone from Sword that's just also trying to get in. However, Wanda doing that implies that is more than just a sword person, right? So I don't know. It's crazy.
I see people talking about it being Wu in the beekeeper. There's a photo out there that has it the contrast and brightness all adjusted.
Yeah.
And it's 100% not.
Yeah, it doesn't look like
it looks like a mix between the guy who played Abomination and John Bernthal.
Yeah, so, I even see a little bit of Evan Peters in there too. I can see Evan Peters.
Yeah, I can see that.
Being in there too. But yeah, so yeah, it could definitely be Mephisto. Like it could absolutely be Mephisto, and he could be coming in just to further mess with her or something. I saw people say it could be Doctor Strange.
More of a I'm not done yet. It's not a no. It's a no, I haven't finished yet kind of a no.
Yeah.
And that's why she rewinds it, because she's like, oh, crap, I didn't want this to end yet.
So do you think there's any significance to the idea of the beekeeper? Like if we think about what a beekeeper does or how a beekeeper functions, or why would, I guess, the idea of being protected from getting stung, what do you think's going on there? Does anything pop out for you on that?
So there's absolutely significance there. I have no fucking clue what it is though.
Yeah, that's fair. I can't quite put it together either. I'm like, okay, so maybe it has to do with the flowers or something. You know what I mean?
I'm like, what's the chemical makeup of honey, and how does that fit into
Well, if you think, maybe it's the pollination. Maybe it's the pollination. The beekeeper is just trying to get the bees to pollinate or whatever and make honey. You know what I mean? Maybe it's something like that.
He's come to pollinate the town so that they're able to figure shit out.
Yeah, who knows? I don't know, man. Some people think it could be Doctor Strange. What do you think?
I don't think so. I think it. I think she still sees. Well, I don't know. I'm trying to think back of if she's had any real interactions with Strange.
Not.
And again, we don't know when this is.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the whole thing that I keep coming back to is it all depends on when this is actually occurring.
Yeah.
Because this could be happening right. This is clearly leading into Multiverse of Madness, but we don't know how much time has elapsed between anything we know.
True.
I mean, the fact that they're the whole idea of dropping us right into the 50s, 60s, where she has no clue what's going on. It's clearly intended to make it look like we have we're trying to make sure you have no clue how to reference it.
And it's they don't want you. It feels like they don't want her to think about it too hard. I think that's a lot of the tension comes in on moments where she's thinking about things.
Yeah.
And doesn't it also?
What I see is they're trying to either jog her memory or help kind of ease her out of things.
Yeah.
Except they're
but it seems like clearly, Agnes wants her to buy in, because Agnes is talking about the structure of the town. Agnes is hey, you're the new neighbor, and really trying to be helpful. So it seems like Agnes is trying to get her to stay.
Yeah, because she's trying to make sure that the kids come. Again, the whole idea of her bringing up the idea of the kids, as soon as Agnes drops that hint, the rest of the town starts going down that path too, because now know that they have to fight for the kids as well. So like, the longer she's in this state, the more dangerous it is.
It's so funny too, because we don't know much about the other characters at all, but it would kind of be interesting for those characters to have to struggle with the idea of them being manifestations or something. You know what I mean? Like, so there's like, this could even carry in to like 5 or 10 years down the line with different moments for these different characters, because I think these Wiccan and Speed are going to be around for a while, my friend. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and I, again, my thoughts are that the town are real people that are only manifestations in her like reality.
Yeah.
But because we know that Tiana, the actress playing Monica Rambeau, and forget what her name is in the first 2 episodes, but the fact that she's playing multiple people, and they have a similar kind of, not interactions, but they are very different from the Agnes.
Yeah. No, agreed. Yeah, agreed. It's just going to be fun. And you know what? I got to give it to them. The mystery of it, I think, is really going to fuel a lot of the anticipation and stuff. And I really do enjoy the form. Like, I think it's really fun and playful. And, it's going to lead into some really, really crazy stuff. So I'm kind of all here for it. I don't know. Is there anything else we wanted to touch on before we get into like Q&A? Is there anything else that you really want to talk about?
For me, going back to the form, it's really enjoyable. Yeah. Like, even though there's intrigue, like when I think about what we've needed as a fan base, what we've needed as a country world, what we needed in 2020 was the kind of joy that this form is bringing. Like, I sat there and just like smiled through the first, through the first episode, through the second episode. Like, obviously there were weird parts I was like, got more intrigued by, but like, it was just enjoyable. Like, I could see watching this through without, and just enjoying it. It's not going to be for everybody, but I think it actually brings in a different kind of audience into the MCU that is an untapped market.
Yeah. Absolutely. And it gives you a lot of, I think, right away, it gave me a lot of faith for what Marvel will be able to do with the rest of their Disney Plus shows. I mean, Falcon and the Winter Soldier is going to be a totally different vibe, really wet worky, going around the globe and whatnot. But then, you're going to get something like Loki. Loki, I think, will pick up on some of these weird threads, but in like totally different ways. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like we're about to get all kinds of different stuff. And then like She-Hulk, this show has made me more excited. Just these first 2 episodes have made me more excited for She-Hulk, because like a periodical, like Law and Order type show, bro. You know what I'm saying? With like this kind of dressings and flavor, like that is fucking cool.
Well, it's like they're building an entire. It's not just the MCU action thriller kind of stuff anymore. They're truly building something for everyone that fits within the story. So
it's like they can give genre slices to.
Yeah, they're pulling in different normies.
Yeah,
like they already had all of us sweaties in there, and we'll be watching it, regardless.
Yeah.
But it really is introducing this universe to a much different, much different group of people, and it's cool to see that I'm not saying first 2 episodes, but like it's gonna be successful. Like White Shug is gonna succeed.
Yeah, he's gonna make it happen, and I think they've got fire for the last couple episodes. You know what I mean? Like, so like we're basically on like a journey of fun, intrigue, and playing with form, and then it's gonna break into full on MCU action, and I mean, that is
right.
you know what I mean? That's a really nice little formula.
I got a question for you. Do you think that there's going to be a wrapped up story at the end of this, or is this going to be an Infinity War, not bloodbath, but like an Infinity War cliffhanger?
I think there will be a resolution. I think there will obviously be some unanswered questions, but I think there will be a resolution insofar as Wanda will leave the bubble, the kids will be real, and we will get some kind of an idea about what is going on, and set up Doctor Strange 2 with her helping him. You know what I mean?
So I think she's going to leave the bubble for sure.
Yeah.
But what I see, and the reason why I bring up Infinity War is, I think the big bad Mephisto, whoever, is going to walk out of this as the winner.
Ooh, okay, sure, yeah.
Because that's what, in my mind, that's what ties this all into Multiverse of Madness. Because otherwise, you've got like, hey, we just dealt with this big bad, and we're going to go deal with this big bad. But like, if we're talking about how everything ties together, I feel like the big bad at the end of this has to win.
Right. Well, here's the question, though, and I think this is really what I think this will really tell us a lot about what's going on. Is the question is, if it is Mephisto, let's just say it's Mephisto.
Yeah.
Is Mephisto able to do what he's doing now because of Endgame, or is this solely a new thing? I think the events of Endgame are probably breaking things down, allowing, certain things to happen. And so it's possible, like, Mephisto, because there is no time stone or soul stone anymore in this timeline, is able to do things that he wasn't able to do before because some of the laws of the universes are bending. So, maybe it's a little bit of that. Yeah.
I can see that. I hope not. I hope that, like, the effects of Endgame obviously have, great consequence and all that kind of stuff. But for me, it almost seems a sloppy way to introduce these kind of problems. Like, they've done such a great job so far building the story.
Yeah.
And it almost seems like a cop-out to me to just say, oh, well, we don't have the, Infinity Stones anymore, and so that's why everything's gone to hell. Like, I want to see a better story than that.
Yeah, no, I don't necessarily agree. I think that the setup for this was probably done a long time ago. And so I think it's probably the opposite of sloppy because it's the MCU, right? So, like, you can't really say that it's sloppy. It's certainly thought out.
I'm not saying that it's not well thought out. Yeah. But it's sloppy.
I think what you're saying is it feels convenient to you.
Yes, convenient. Convenient is a good word.
Which is fine, and maybe rightfully so. But I think too, like, think about it like this: if you were going to set up 10 years of storytelling to show the significance of these, stones and all that, and then you remove them from the universe, and you kind of are pretty clear, like, the Ancient One pretty much explains that, like, this is really bad if you do this. You know what I mean? Like, if the stones are destroyed, like, everything just goes to shit. So that's what's happening. So, think about it. If you're Mephisto and you get a little breathing room, but you can't quite do the things that you want to do, well, maybe you try to manipulate a being like Wanda to be able to further your own goals, right? And I bet Doctor Strange and a lot of people are sort of sitting back and just looking at the multiverse and being like, well, what's happening? Like, what's going on, right? So I don't think he's necessarily even super involved with, like, WandaVision right now, but when he realizes what's going on, he probably will get involved,
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't mean to say, like, that it's, sloppy per se. It's more, it's like the convenience of it in my mind opens up so much worse things.
Yeah. Well, that's why they'll do Secret Wars for a status quo reset, because I think that's the whole idea is like it's gonna get really weird. Like,
yeah, it's gonna get really weird, and like the amount of villains out there that would take advantage of this.
Oh, it's gonna be everybody.
Yeah.
And then the one villain that's going to save us all is going to be Doom, and he's going to be, you know what I mean? So, like, yeah, oh, man, I can't wait.
Yeah,
it's pretty exciting. But let's hop into a Q&A, guys. So, look, if you've got a little loot, you want to get your question answered, drop a super chat in, and we will answer every single super chat. If you don't have any loot, you don't have to worry about that. We'll take answers from the chat, just the regular chat as well. I want to welcome Evan to the Nerdvengers. You're a Nerdvenger now. And then Nick D says with the $5 holla says, I didn't catch the Snap reference you were talking about, Josh. I'm going to have to watch the first episode again. Yeah, so it's when she comes in with all the food and she says, I wouldn't be a good neighbor if I didn't have just a gourmet meal ready to go. And then she says something to the effect of, like, I think you'll have this done in a snap. And then she literally snaps. Yeah, it's pretty wild, actually.
The Easter eggs. I feel like
we missed a bunch,
Easter eggs,
dude. Yeah,
so deep.
Yeah, no, yeah. I will be doing, after we get done with this stream, I'm going to do a breakdown video, guys, and I'll knock that out, first reaction sort of breakdown, and I'll edit that and throw that up on the main channel as well. So I'll spend a little time digging in to do some research before that. One Shot says with the $5 holla, so this goes into Spider-Man and Doctor Strange. Chances Spider-Man and Doctor Strange show up in the end, because Wanda, we all know, will be in Doctor Strange. Yeah, I would say very high on Doc, very low on Peter. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I don't think we're going to see many more of, the traditional Avengers or, Spider-Man or anyone really beyond Doctor Strange. I think the more likely thing that we're going to see is, like I was talking about, the like kind of manifestations of Mephisto trying to keep control in the situation. So when Agatha or Agnes fails or starts losing control, I think that's when we're going to see the Quicksilver or Ian McKellen as Magneto.
Ooh, yeah. No, I mean, there's a lot of cool possibilities, but I think that the nature of the show being isolated and the fact that we don't know when it is, I think it's probably the safe bet that there will not be a lot of main Avengers and stuff like that. So,
all right. So I don't know if you can actually throw up the image on screen. I see a lot of people asking about the beekeeper, or at least drop in the Discord so people can check that out.
Oh, but, yeah, absolutely. I think we touched on it on a video recently, didn't we?
I can't remember if you actually showed the photo.
Yeah.
You
can find it online, guys. It's on, if you check it out on Reddit, they did it was pretty good on Reddit. And actually, I had it on our Twitter pinned for a while too, because I really do think it's Evan Peters. But we can definitely get that in there for them.
Yeah. From Discord.
Yeah. So let's see here. DMen05 says, really dig the end titles. I'm happy with the first 2 episodes. Can't wait to see where it goes. Yeah, I think we're all pretty satisfied. From what I can tell, it seems like everybody's pretty satisfied and definitely interested in where we're going, which I think is the most important element. Everybody's really curious. You know what I mean? About where we're going. So,
yeah.
LMI Music says she didn't ask Vision. She gave him permission. Yeah, that's an interesting way to look at it. I think you're onto something there. Not quite sure what it means, but yeah.
Well, if he's more of a, if he's not real,
right, then,
she's basically giving herself permission to, do that.
Yeah, pretty interesting stuff. Yeah. One Shot says Jimmy Woo is in the second trailer. Oh, yeah, no, it's pretty well established that Jimmy Woo is going to be in the show. That broke months and months and months ago.
All right, the real question I have is, will he have learned close-up magic?
No. Which actually would be interesting if he did, actually. But
I would love to. That would be the best Easter egg ever. Is
I think
just sitting there practicing with the deck of cards or something.
Well, I think he's going to pop up. I think it's him in the radio, but I think he might pop up in the town and not remember that he's a sword agent. You know what I mean? and be like the other ones.
Just like Rambo.
Yeah, exactly. Obi-Wan Dahomey with the best freaking name I've ever seen on YouTube. Welcome to the Nerdvengers Prime. You're a Nerdvenger now, my friend. And then Ghost Fixer. Welcome to the Nerdvengers Prime. You are a Nerdvenger now. Well, you were a Nerdvenger before, but now you're a Nerdvenger Prime member.
I saw that Bill was saying that we got another member. He threw in a super chat,
Hunter Burnett joined the Nerdvengers before the stream and would like to be knighted on camera. Hunter! You're a Nerdvenger now. Welcome to the Nerdvengers. Thanks, Bill. J.M. Wilson says Baron Von Strucker plus Time Machine equal Doctor Doom. Holy cow, that's kind of a wild. It's kind of a wild idea there, man. Doctor Doom is one of the only people in the Marvel universe that has a actually functioning time machine, though. So, yeah, who knows? That would be really, really interesting. Colin here is on the same page as you. He says, do you guys think the toaster was referring to the Stark missile that almost killed Wanda and Pietro? Yeah, Godfather pointed that out a while ago for sure. Let's see here. What else is everybody saying? Yeah, when you enter it, you change it like the helicopter. Okay, yeah, so this is the thing. Penny is saying when you enter the bubble, you change forms like the helicopter turning into a toy. Yeah. That's why I think the beekeeper came in underground, because everybody's just trying to get in. And maybe even him, he's just in a hazmat suit and he's just becoming a beekeeper when he comes in. You know what I mean? So,
that could, yeah. I really would love to see like something with AIM.
Yeah.
With the
it does, yeah.
AIM beekeeper suits. Like I know it's like kind of out of left field for this series, but if there was some kind of not Easter egg or something where AIM and is working with Mephisto or whoever, that would be fun.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. And AIM, I think, actually will be doing a lot in the MCU moving forward. So it could be a cool little way to get them going. Have them be involved or something to that effect. Let's see here. After the reveals, it will be a fun rewatch in a few weeks. I think that's true. I think it will be a really fun rewatch. A lot of rewatchability to go back and see. It's a lot like Westworld in that way. Westworld season 1, where like you don't exactly know what's going on, but you're definitely interested. And then like when you go back and watch episode 1, you're like, holy crap. So yeah, pretty cool stuff. Bro Dolphin says this show got me fucked up. Yeah, no, for sure. And then the Tanner Epic with the $5 holla says, did you see the Grim Reaper Easter egg when Vision no-clipped through the floor during the animated part? Yeah, I didn't see it, but somebody pointed it out, and I checked out my DMs, and then I went back and saw it, yeah.
The intros were amazing.
Yeah.
They were like everything, like... They're the one thing I was like, all right, they are going all out for this. They want to make sure that this is true to form. So that means we're definitely getting the Brady Bunch intro as well. I'm
which is going to be really, really cool. Yeah, no, it's pretty sweet, man. It's pretty sweet. And, I was even just geeking out at the freaking sound, dude. The freaking Marvel fanfare. You know what I mean? Yeah. Just getting that fanfare back and just feeling like we're back and knowing where we're going, with all this content. It's pretty cool. Man. Yeah, it's pretty cool. George says WandaVision can't take place past 2024 because that's when Spider-Man 3 happens. Well,
but does it?
I mean, here's the thing. Like between WandaVision and Loki, I don't know if we know about time anymore. I just don't know, because I don't know what Loki's going to do. It might...
Hell, do we even know that we're in the Prime universe here? Are we even in the right Marvel universe?
No, we don't know. It's So, it's going to be really, really crazy. People are saying that Ralph is Doctor Strange.
I have something that's really kind of interesting. What if this is actually clearly not, but what if she was actually going back in time in this, and this is like a full on time travel
Well, yeah. I mean, it's very possible. Time and space is likely breaking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because all the, with the stones gone and everything, I think that's really going to be their big play. Is like without the stones, the universe is just collapsing. So they might not do the Beyonders, which is a shame. They might just make it sort of like hey, well, you pulled, sort of the drain. You started the draining of the universe, as it were.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Because if she's actually messing with time in that kind of way as well, then that would explain a lot more of the breaking apart rather than just her like in this little bubble creating everything that she wants.
That's so true. And you know what? It's almost, I mean, it almost has to be that the time is different in the bubble, right? It almost has to be. I mean, think about it. She's doing episodes, dude,
And that's why people don't know who they are.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, it definitely could be something like that, and the whole time situation could be completely screwy. So that that whole Spider-Man comment could be off. Let's see here. One Shot says, "And will Spider-Man be in Doctor Strange?" Yeah, I strongly believe that Spider-Man will be in Doctor Strange.
How many Spider-Man?
At least 3. Count Juicy, welcome to the Nerd Vengers. You're a Nerd Venger now. Count Juicy, what up, man? So guys, just so you know, we're going to go 10, 15 more minutes, and we will be doing this stream every week for the show. Like I said, I'll probably knock out a quick little video after this, and then we'll be doing a bunch of content. But there is Jacob Stowe, you're a Nerd Venger. Welcome to the Nerd Vengers. I know you joined earlier off camera and all that, so it's good to have you. So yeah, guys, just drop your questions if you want us to touch on anything in the last 10 or 15 minutes. Yeah, man. Any last minute things on your mind at all? Anything that popping into your brain hole?
I just want to get back and watch them again.
Yeah.
Luckily, the wife's home at sleep right now, so I know I can watch those in the morning with her and the kids. So.
Man, I don't know if it was just the time of like being up super early, but man, were these episodes weird. They were weird, bro. Like in a good way. Like I love David Lynch, and I really like that sort of edge. And I had sort of said before, like I'm looking for that hint of horror. You know what I mean? And I'm not a horror guy,
but it's there.
But I think you need that tone. Dude,
definitely.
One of the craziest things was when she's having the face off with Dottie, and she says, "I am," and the music's like picking up and shit, and she's like, "I am not here to hurt anyone," and Dottie's like, "I don't believe you," and then Dottie ends up with blood in her hand from breaking the thing, right? So look, Wanda is clearly at least part of this problem, and it's really interesting to watch this play out.
I got one more thing that like pops in my mind, and something that was more of a like comical trope, but the whole gumming up Vision bit, I thought was really interesting.
It was,
especially considering like his ability to phase and like,
well, there's a lot of things that don't make sense. So the first thing that threw me off was, why is she even cooking the meal?
Yeah.
I was like, why isn't she manifesting it? And then like when Agnes showed up, I was like, this is so strange. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't understand, Like she could just make the meal. If you can snap and just be in different clothes and turn chicken into eggs, you know what I mean? Like you can manifest a meal. So there's a lot of weird stuff going on there. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. A lot more to watch.
Redneck Trekker says, first thought was this was her when she destroyed his stone, but that doesn't work now because someone is watching. So I think it's after Endgame, but why the reference to Iron Man? Well, I think it was just the reference to Stark and how Stark and that bomb and Sokovia was a big part of her, I guess, creation. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Evan says with the $5 holla, if Wanda instantly removed when the beekeeper made it into the bubble, what's the significance of Monica Rambeau being allowed to stay? I think that's totally fair. Also, that must be time travel, right? When she, you know what I'm saying? Like, it has to be a little bit of time travel because we rewind to a prior point. So,
yeah,
man, there's some weird things going on, man, in this episode for sure. Did y'all see the stone on the magic cupboard? It looked like Mephisto to me. It had horns on it.
To me, it looked like the Mind Stone.
Yeah, I know. That's what people are saying. Is it looks like the Mind Stone? I think that's totally fair. To me, just with the horns and everything, I was like, ooh. And maybe I'm just seeing Mephisto wherever I look. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
JT says, "Who is the voice on the radio?" I think Wu. A lot of people believe it's Wu. Yeah. Pretty wild.
I'm a woo girl.
I'm a woo girl. Who was watching Wanda on TV? Yeah, who was? Sword Agent?
Dick Van
Dyke? Mephisto? Doctor Strange? Mike Zero? You know? Who knows? Only the Oracle. And hopefully Josh sees that and gives him a proper night. Wait, who am I supposed to night properly? Wait a minute. What? Who did I miss? Hopefully Josh sees that and gives him a proper knighting. I got to see who they're talking about. Did you see it?
I did not.
I think I got everybody. Did I miss somebody? I got Count Juicy. Hunter. I thought I got a Hunter.
Yeah. I remember Hunter.
Yeah, I think I did Hunter, but that's okay. Hunter, welcome. Welcome to the Nerd Vengers. Hunter. You're a Nerd Venger now. Strange calling Wanda on the radio. Could be. One Shot says, what if Mephisto somehow got the Mind Stone back and is using it to do this to Wanda to get her kids for the first New Mutants? Interesting. Yeah, no, something like that is going on. I don't think he's using the stone. I think the stone's not being there maybe take away some of the limitations of his power or something. That's what I personally think. But who knows for sure? Look, Mephisto's hella strong. You know what I mean? So, who knows?
Yes, he is.
Who knows? Kat Dennings searching for her hand. Wait, Kate Dennings? Yeah, maybe. I think the beekeeper is showing that the town is like a beehive and someone is smoking them out, torturing them. That's really interesting. I mean, yeah. There could be something to that. Yeah. Who is Dottie? I think she's another witch. I think
she could be.
Yeah,
because that's the only other one that he's trying to introduce her to.
Yeah,
like everyone else, she's kind of playing interference with and trying to limit interactions, whereas Dottie, she's actively trying to introduce her to.
Yeah, because in New Salem, she's in charge of a order of various sorcerers, and then there's a warlock known as Nicholas Scratch, who helps them out as well. So she could be just another one of those witches. So
yeah, but she, young Lim pointed out, she did seem scared. So it's not like a...
Well, that's because if you're a witch and you use like the power of like the arcane or whatever, Wanda's chaos magic dwarfs your abilities. Yeah. Wanda is scary no matter what. So I wonder...
They gotta keep her in line.
Yeah, that is so interesting. I really wonder. And think about it. Is Wanda... She might be capable of stuff that even Mephisto is not. You know what I mean? So is he manipulating her because he literally can't do what she can do? That's crazy, dude. You know?
Well, and you see, like, as she's starting to talk to Monica Rambeau's alter ego, that she keeps jumping in to try to keep order in the circle.
Interesting. Dottie was also Anya on Buffy, who was also a witch. That's really interesting. I had no idea. Dang, that's kind of cool. All right, guys, I'm gonna knock out these last few super chats. Holy cow! And then we're gonna get out of here. So, all right. How did Wanda end up in this place? Says Bruh Dolphin. Well, I think we will come to learn that. What do you think? You got any ideas with that?
No, not yet.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I've heard is that it's possible she literally just falls asleep watching sitcoms after Endgame, and she's just really sad, and
that would be the like best explanation ever.
Yeah, so she's just sad and falls asleep, missing Vision,
Falls asleep on the couch watching sitcoms.
Yeah, exactly. And then, like, basically, when she's asleep, Mephisto's like, "I'm gonna fuck with this bitch," and then all of a sudden, we're where we're at. Yeah.
That would be like, do you not let her go to sleep?
Right.
From there on out, like,
yeah, I don't know.
The whole like Tony locking her in the mansion, like,
right, exactly.
Sounds like a good idea now.
Yeah, right. David Rodriguez, the $5 holla, says, I'm not sure if this was mentioned at all, but they mention Hackensack, New Jersey, at the neighborhood watch. Wonder if that has any significance. I think, if anything, that could be an Easter egg for a writer, from New Jersey. I don't know.
Or just New Jersey's trash and no one would want to move there.
Hey, I might move there now. I don't know if you heard this. I might be moving there. I'm going to move next to Ryan. Yeah, I don't know if Hackensack rather has any significance. Do you think that has any significance?
None that I know.
Yeah.
I'm not up on my locations in the
don't worry,
Marvel
the
universe.
Internet will find it, and if the Internet has anything on that, I will bring it to your attention, guys.
We will have it by the morning.
Yes. Boots Tango with the $5 holla says, Captain America will revive Vision. He has all the stones and the hammer. I hope to see him in the Multiverse of Madness. Oh yeah, I think you're gonna see him as a young man with the stones eventually, but I think you'll see old man Cap for the next couple of years. I actually think. What's your take on Cap?
The vision of young man Cap with the stones is not. It's 2:30 in the morning for me, so
yeah,
that goes to a different place. But no, I think we'll see him pop back in. I don't necessarily know how involved he's going to be fully going forward. I kind of feel like the whole Chris Evans coming back in is more of a sorry for 2020 kind of thing.
Yeah.
Rather than.
Yeah, I agree. Really, well, I actually think it was probably in the cards, but maybe, upgraded or whatever. But yeah.
Yeah, it just seems like it's not even fan service. It's more just that it's a nod to the fact that we've been through shit in 2020.
Yes,
and
agreed.
We need
we're literally in a different world. So like that, 1 year off, but that was not 1 year. You know what I mean? Like that was like a decade. So I agree. I find it to be pretty interesting. I think we'll find out more in the next 6 months on that. One Shot says, in the trailer, Agatha dresses as a witch. That's basically confirmation to me that she's a bad of the show. Yes, but is she an agent of Mephisto's? Is she working on her own? Is she, who knows for sure? But yeah, no, Agatha is clearly nefarious and has some idea of what is actually going on with Wanda, I think. What do you think, bro?
Yeah, I think she's definitely on the opposite side of sword. There's no doubt in my mind that they're both fighting for the same thing or against the same thing.
Yep.
And I don't necessarily know that Sword is aware of her.
That's totally fair. It's hard to say how much they are aware of at all, right? So
because there was some ignoring her witty comments at the magic show. She kind of seems to be making those comments kind of just out of the blue, and no one's really paying attention to her. Yeah,
that's fair. I'm gonna pay very close attention, to that character and everything that's going on with that for sure. Monica wears a sword medallion. Oh man, there's so much, dude. There's so much we gotta unpack with this. So,
Well, and beyond that, just thinking about wardrobes and patterns from back in the day, like I'm sure there's stuff hidden all over in the patterns from those clothes.
Yep.
The wallpaper, everything.
Yep, definitely.
Ooh.
All right, everybody. Well, that's going to do it for us tonight. We'll be back at it next week for the next episode and just carrying on throughout the year. We do the watch parties for the members, and then we stream for these. There's so many cool shows and movies coming out in 2021, so we're very excited to be doing all this kind of stuff. Godfather, any last words for the people on this, the night that Marvel returns to our lives?
It's good to be back, baby.
It's good to be back, indeed. Morning stream. So no morning stream today. I'm going to work on knocking out the video, and then I'm going to probably pass out. But there will be other videos, and, of course, we will be streaming for the members this weekend. So, yeah, lots of cool stuff. But, yeah, when we do these morning, like early in the morning things, I can't turn around and go do a morning stream. Like I don't know if that would be good.
There's not enough dunking in the world, right?
Yeah, there ain't enough dunking in the world, baby. Shoot that right into my veins. It ain't enough.
Gotta go steal it off of Batfleck's porch.
Exactly. JT, the other thing will go down at 1 p.m. All right, everybody. Thank you guys so much for being here. Marvel's back, baby. We're back on the Marvel train. Very excited. And, yeah, that's going to do it for us, guys. As we always say, we hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day. And we'll see you in the next video.